YouTube, X58 here. Welcome back to the channel. Well, I finally got a little time to make a quick trip to the shooting range a few days ago. And as luck would have it, it was a crowded day. And the only lane I could get was the one that I'd gone to before that I realized had the bad lighting. And it's been a long time since I'd shot what I call a big bore revolver, for 44 Magnum. So I decided I'm just gonna go out and just have some fun. Now, as far as I'm concerned, any range time is fun, but there's something about those big bore revolvers that just, ratchets that fun level up a little bit. And any of you that own any 44 Magnums, you already know what I'm talking about. But anyway, this is my Smith & Wesson model 629-1. It's got a 6-inch barrel. This model has a target hammer, and it's got a smooth combat trigger. Now this gun has at least what I normally keep on it are these target stocks, but since I take the time to refinish these, I usually take them off when I go to the range. And this one I've outfitted with a pair of black rubber Pacmar presentation stocks or grips, and they fit my hand very well. They absorb recoil, so it does make the shooting a little bit more comfortable because it covers the back strap, so you don't get a lot of that impulse from the recoil back into your the web of your hand and the palm. So it makes it a little more comfortable to shoot. But I don't whine about that, because that's a lot of the fun of shooting a big bore revolver. Is the blast and the recoil. So I'm not complaining. I've used these more to protect from damaging my refinished stocks than I do for comfort, because I really like the feel of the wood anyway. But anyway, enough of that. So like I said, I didn't have a lot of time. I only took about 50 rounds inside. And after I wound up with that lane with the crappy lighting, I was glad I only had 50 rounds. So it was a short, fun experience, but it turned out okay. Now, I'm not one to talk about groups and stuff like that. I don't go to the range to try to get 1-inch groups and 2-inch groups and all that kind of nonsense. I go to the range to have fun. And that's what I do. I can hit what I'm aiming at, and that's the main thing. But I do like to try to improve and be respectable. So that's what you're going to see here. Now, this is the first time I've shot this gun in a long time. So I had a little time. It took me a little time to get back used to the trigger. I've been shooting semi-automatics a lot more lately. So anytime you go from a semi to a revolver, it takes a little time to get used to the longer, heavier trigger pulls, and then the lightness of the single action pulls. But anyway, the first shots with this were about 12 yards, and this was strictly double action. And now, like I said, I don't get wrapped up into the 1-inch groups and 2-inch groups and that sort of thing at 50 yards. A lot of people, they like to bloviate about that sort of thing, and I'm just not one that do. If I can hit a 6-inch target at 12 yards in poor lighting, shooting a double action revolver, hey, I'm good. I pray that for the rest of my life I only have to shoot at targets and plinking. But if there was a threat on the other side of that 12-yard shot, that 6-inch group will be more than sufficient to eliminate that threat. And that's my mindset. So that's why I don't put any pressure on myself about trying to shoot a 2-inch group and that kind of thing. But that's just me. It don't make it the rule for anybody else. But I was shooting this one double action. And on this first set of shots that I took. And then, like I said, after you shot semi-automatics for a long time, it takes a little getting back accustomed to shooting a revolver. And the double action on this gun is actually really good, and it's not real heavy. I don't think it's any heavier than what I would expect in any other, big bore revolver, especially one of these Smith & Wesson Model 629s. And I'm fairly pleased with the shot placement. I would love to see them all here, but hey, it didn't take away any of the fun from having them spread out over the target. I had one that got away. Can't explain it. Don't know how it happened. Don't know why it happened, but it did. And to be honest, I think it was my first shot. If I remember right. Maybe I was just anxious. But anyway, and like I said, it was a lot of fun. And I was shooting. It was actually some reload 44 Magnums from a company called, I think it's called Georgia Arms, that I bought at a local gun show. And it's pretty good ammo. They weren't as potent as factory load ammo, but it was pretty stout. And let's see, the second set of shots were at 15 yards. And I was shooting these single action. And as you can see, the shots were a little bit better, a little bit high on the target, but nonetheless, they were a lot better grouped. Again, I got two that got away. I can't explain it. I think some of it was the poor lighting, but I think a lot of it was trying to get used to that single action trigger. The single action on this gun is fairly light. So if you put any pressure on that trigger before you intend to break the shot, you may fire sooner than you were actually ready to. And I think that's what happened with these two. The rest of them, as you can see, they're pretty well placed. They're not marksman quality shots, but I'm not trying to be a marksman, so I don't care. And then the last set of shots that I took, again, were at 15 yards, and they were double action. I like to shoot revolvers both single and double, because if you find yourself in a situation where you may have to use your gun in a defensive measure, it's going to be double action. So I like to shoot double and single action. I use single action for if I'm trying to get an accurate shot. I shoot double action if I'm just trying to put shots on target at a faster pace than I would if I was shooting single action. And the same rule, same thing applied. It seemed like 3 shots got away. I don't know if it's poor lighting, poor sight, or poor technique. Either way, I had 3 of them got away. But the other ones, they all on target. And actually, they were better here than they were when I first started up on the 12-yard set. But I've been shooting the gun at this point for about 40 rounds, so I was starting to get a little bit more accustomed to the trigger and back accustomed to shooting the revolvers. And the only thing I hate at that point was that I only brought 50 rounds with me. I was really starting to enjoy shooting it in spite of the poor lidded booth, but nonetheless, I ran out of ammo and ran out of time. So that was my range day. And it wasn't the best time I've had at a range, but nonetheless, it was still a good time. And I can't wait to get a chance to go again. I love shooting these 44 Magnums. But that's it. Just wanted to show you this and share my experience on my last trip to the range. It's Big Swole 58. Till the next time. Thanks for watching.